Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Yes, here we go. Follow the Money. Paulie Howard, Dustin Sweetelson, Mitch back tomorrow. Big program coming up. Messi Mania. France ready to go in an hour. On plus NBA draft and all the news. What's going to happen with Giannis? Our national nightmare will end soon. And our NFL betting guide is out. Dustin with a great prop he likes in 10 minutes. We are too high. As a network, we're too high on one team.
We are.
I'm freaking out. I saw this. I was like, oh, boy, this is not going to go well. But we'll talk to Nick Whalen, draft, NBA news, Giannis, Alex Crook on site at Messi's big performance in the Argentina win, Dallas-Fort Worth. Go to Mama's Pizza if you're in the area. And we'll get to Do You Concur as well. How you doing?
I'm thrilled today. And the big reason why I'm fired up to be with you is that all this NBA stuff has kind of transpired throughout the morning. We got the Dusty May news early where I thought I got by a fake account. Turns out it was real. But I don't have to sit up here and pretend that I care about Wyndham Clark. I don't care that. I don't need to pretend that he moves the needle in any way. He wins the U.S. Open. He was about 50, 60 to 1. I saw 40 to 1 here. He goes back to back with this event. But I've never seen anyone go through what he went atop the leaderboard where nobody at the course wanted him to win.
He makes the birdie putt to go to 5 under, and you could hear a pin drop because everyone's rooting against him. I couldn't believe it.
Golf fans are weird. Can we
yes.
just be fair? Like, of the sports fans, golf fans are probably the weirdest because if Tiger would have rolled up, they would have got down and kissed his feet as he walked to the tee box. And that guy's gone through a lot off the course these days.
Yes. So great performance by Messi again. He just misses the hat trick. He had the PK early. Not only did the keeper guess right, Messi missed the goal entirely. He whiffed on it, but still scores both goals. He has all 5 goals for Argentina. He was plus 550 to score 2. They win 2-0, and he sets the record for most goals in World Cup history. Good performance. He almost had the hat trick late as well. And how about the $700,000 bet on Argentina at the Red Rock before the match started?
I heard a rumor. I can't really confirm if the source is legit. It was the guy getting his hair cut after me this morning at the barbershop. He said he had $3,000 in Argentina. He said, I mentioned that ticket. He goes, it's Steve Will Do It. I just came from Red Rock. So he said it was Steve Will Do It, the YouTuber.
Sure.
That's who had the big bet on Argentina today. They get home. I almost laid the 1.5 with Argentina today. It was like plus $1.33. I ultimately decided not to. And even though the bet cashes, I'm happy I didn't bet it because I did not want to live through that sweat after the missed PK. They had to score the last one late. And I thought the last one, the aggressiveness up 1-0, the relentlessness to take advantage of a mistake by Austria and eventually punch it in. I thought it said a lot about Argentina in this spot, and they look as dangerous as anyone as their odds continue to drop to win this whole thing.
I thought the same thing as you did when the bet came in and then while watching the second half. Like, it's always squeaky bum time.
I don't want it.
He could have laid a better number, but, it was $1.80 here at Circa. But because of the 3-way, you're just sitting there. It's like, oh, my God, they can pump one in here on me. And I get the draw, and I lose everything. But they get the late goal from Messi, and they win 2-0. And that was plus 650 here at Circa with the exact score as well. We'll get to France coming up. Huge favorites against Iraq, minus 1,200. But you got to play the FOMO parlay, right? Because it hit last week. So you already have it in with Messi. And that's bing, bang, boom, right in a row. It's Messi, Mbappe, and Haaland, all to score 2. That came in last week. And then, as luck would have it, guess who plays the early match tomorrow? England. So that also came if you put Harry Kane on there. So you can do that again. So when Messi's already in. Do you want to throw Mbappe and Haaland out there anytime, 2 goals, whatever you want to do?
I don't hate it just because at this point in this event, you're looking at these teams looking to their main guy to get it done when it matters. That's the thing that jumped out to me about the Messi goals. It's the consistently looking to set him up, trusting that he's going to punch it home. They know if he can get 4 or 5 shots on net, he's going to get a couple goals. So get him the ball when it matters near the net and let him just throw it on there and see if it goes through the back.
Yeah. Mitch did a boost that paid 130 to 1 on those 3 guys.
Wow.
And just to tell you how big, because France is such a big favorite, BTTS is minus 210 here. Mbappe anytime as high as minus 250 first goal plus 220. And then I'm seeing hat trick as low as 4-1. 4-1 for a hat. I mean, come on. That's what they're up against here is France should rock and roll.
I'm on the over in France or rock. We'll get into it, I guess, a little bit later here. But I do think I thought about France over 3.5 at plus money, but I think there's a chance they score 4. And there is a world where Iraq punches one in as well. So I'm on the over. But,
okay. And Nigel had a nice write-up today, vsin.com. He laid the 2.5 with France, and that goes in about an hour. Okay, so how are we feeling right now? Giannis at Pauley Market up to 55% to go to Boston, 39% to go to Miami. It was higher on Boston a couple hours ago. Shams had the report earlier today. It's either Boston or Miami. It'll get done before the draft. It was supposed to get done this weekend. It feels now like it's just they're doing this on purpose. Like kind of when Schefter reported Rodgers wants out on draft day. It feels like this is they know what's going to happen. They're just going to wait till right before the draft to build up all the hype, and we get the announcement tomorrow. What say you, Dustin?
I'm over it. I'm over Giannis. I'm over going back and forth. To me, this is like Sammy and Ronnie and Jersey Shore. They kept getting back together, breaking up, getting back together, breaking up, then the letter. There's just this constant drama that is so unnecessary for a guy that was the most beloved superstar in the league. He seems so pure. He seems so genuine. And now it's like, all right, you want out of Milwaukee, and everyone either goes to Miami or Boston, it feels like, for the second act to win the title.
Well, you could put some blame on the Bucks too, with the GM and ownership, because this apparently they still liked the Miami offer but didn't love it, and then Riley kind of changed his mind about I don't want to give up the house for the guy because I could still get him but not be competitive. But Boston, this now will give you a pick and Jaylen Brown, and this has really jumped up. And apparently the offer was made, the strong offer 10 days ago, but a big move on Pauley Market on the Celtics, and it appears, I think it's going to be Boston once this trade is announced.
On the Bucks thing, did you know their ownership structure changes every 5 years? I saw someone tweeted this out earlier, one of the NBA reporters from CBS. Right now, Wes Edens is the one who handles everything. Jimmy Haslam takes over in 2028. Like, this is a weird...
Is that right?
Yeah, where he I guess he's in charge of the group that owns it, and they each get a run at being... I had no idea this was a thing.
Is it true the GM was on a bachelor party?
Probably. I didn't
That's
see
another
that.
reason this was a held up? Come on.
I don't think that's it. I think they're waiting for the optimal time to steal the headlines, like you mentioned with Rodgers. Let's be very clear. Giannis, who has not been very durable the last few years... He is still an upgrade over Jaylen Brown. I don't care what Jaylen Brown put up in a lineup without Tatum. Jaylen Brown can't take the front office from Boston with him to Milwaukee. Jaylen Brown can't still dribble with his left hand.
Yeah, I know.
I don't see him as a dude that you build around, but if he wants to be the alpha, he wants to be the one dog, I respect it, man. I respect wanting the smoke in that way. I just don't see him being that type of dude. So I think this is going to be a huge loss for him and a huge win for Boston, who gets the better overall, more versatile basketball player.
That was the other thing. Milwaukee wants to be able to be competitive with after this trade, no rebuild. And also, Shams reporting other teams are not going to be involved because that was all over the place. That's bad. Yeah, I know. That was all over the place all weekend, that there were 3-4 teams involved. This was a big one, though, today on ESPN. Brian Windhorst, that Jaylen Brown is going to be moved even if they can't acquire Giannis.
It wasn't that Jason Tatum got hurt and they lost that series with Philly. I think the Celtics have taken a hard look in the mirror and they have decided we weren't going to beat the Knicks. All these people are like saying that the Knicks are, they want to say reasons why they didn't beat the Knicks. Not the Celtics. The Celtics are stone cold sober, think they're not as good as the Knicks. They're not sure they're going to be as good as the Pacers next year when they come back fully healthy, and they believe they need to upgrade their team. And I am now speculating that if Jaylen Brown doesn't get traded for Giannis, they may trade him somewhere else. So that is one of the things that emerged. Now, Miami understands this. Miami understands that Jaylen Brown is in there. They can't match that. Miami, in recent days, has gone out to try to recruit third and fourth teams to improve their offer. They have what they have. They don't have a premium player. They don't have a Jaylen Brown. The most premium asset that they have to trade is the number 13 pick in tomorrow night's draft, which is a good piece, but it's not Jaylen Brown. So they have gone out to try to enhance their offer, and I think that's what we're going to get.
Who's he going to play with, though?
Well, he might go to the Clippers. He might go to Portland. And I think, to your point, how many times did he say this was the most fun I had in an NBA season? And then you say it after you blow a 3-1 series lead, and the first time in Celtics history that they did that to a banged-up Philly team. The writing was on the wall then.
Yeah, I understand where he's coming from. He said, look what I can be. Look at, what was it, 5 more points per game across the board? The numbers improve. You're touching the ball more, man. Of course, the numbers are going to be good. I think this is one of those deals that a player regrets at the end of their career. They go, I wanted it. I wanted the money. I wanted the attention. I wanted the control. I wanted to be the leader of an organization. And then he looks back and goes, well, I only won the 1 ring. And then Boston's probably going to win 1, maybe 2 more in the Tatum window in the parity era of the NBA. I still believe they're best structured to continually win, continually be a contender, to win the East year after year with Tatum, with Giannis, and whoever else Brad Stevens wants to put on that roster.
Yes. So I still like the Miami offer better, to be honest with you, because I want that 13th pick, because this draft is so loaded. You can sell Hero being from Wisconsin. And then you got Jaquez and these other guys too.
It's a bunch of garbage. Like they're fine. Like if I'm the Heat, I want to trick someone into taking Tyler Hero.
Do you?
I want to trick them into taking.
But
Jaquez.
Detroit was rumored.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think for Miami, it's the ultimate windfall. If you wind up with Giannis, for those guys, they're all fine. They're not special.
Yeah. Well, this would be great though, because I think finally the Celtics would have to change the way they play. And enough of this crap shooting 53s a game. That's the best part of it. The bombshell today with Dusty May. It must be difficult being a college coach with the pay for play after what he did. And our NFL guide is out. Dustin, with a great prop that he likes, he'll explain coming up on VSiN. Follow the Money. The Sports Betting Network, Sirius XM Channel 158, live downtown Circa, baby. So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We were waiting on the big Giannis trade, and then you wake up and you get a bombshell in the NBA with a coaching move. As Dusty May leaves Michigan to take the Mavs job, 49 years old, went 64-13 at Michigan, took Florida Atlantic to the Final Four, and decides the defending champ with a ton of NIL money and a good roster coming back says, nope, I'm going to leave and go to the NBA. Incredible.
I thought it was fake. I sent it to the group text, and I was like, wait, I got God. It's not real. I was like, no, it's real. It's Shams. Yeah. I don't understand this. I have one conspiracy as to why I think Dusty May is doing that I'll share with you in a moment. But this dude was coaching FAU, his first season as a D1 head coach in 2018.
Yeah.
Now he's the head coach of the Dallas Mavericks. He is the last time a head coach left a college job to go to the NBA was John Beilein, which he didn't even make it out of that first season. And he's the first coach to leave in the offseason immediately after winning the title since Larry Brown did it in 1988. But Michigan had players back. McKinney, Cadeau. They brought in Estrella from Tennessee. They brought in Jalen Reed from LSU. They were in for this Euro kid that had 2 years of eligibility left that they could potentially add as well in the portal. They were primed to make another run. The reason I think that Dusty May ultimately went to the NBA is he knows that NIL regulations are coming. The rest of college basketball is not going to sit around while all these teams get unlimited budgets to spend whatever they want on these rosters. I think it's going to be a lot harder to consistently do it the way that they just did it with all the guys that transferred in. And that regulation pushed them to say, I am not here for this. I don't have the energy to do this for the next 3-4 years.
Yeah. I just think it's a pain in the ass coaching now.
It's not worth it.
And what the future can hold, right? But especially just with the Chandler story, there's just what happened with the court, Nico. Just up and leave, and what do these contracts mean? And this is, but here's my thing: if you want to leave and go to the NBA, okay, get the bag. But why not go to the East? You're stuck in the. I get Cooper Flag, but you're stuck in the West.
Yeah, why go to Dallas, who I know they've made a lot of changes to the front office in the last year, but they've been a mess for a little bit here. And why go to the Western Conference when there is a path in the East? There is an ability to jump 2-3 teams at a time in the East. I just think he saw the NBA playoffs and realized it's really not that innovative to be an NBA head coach. There's really not that much happening that blows you away X's and O's wise. And he's capitalizing on his opportunity before things got cold, right? He'll never have bigger juice. He'll never be a bigger name than right now. So Dusty May makes the move here. Apparently John Shire also had interest, but he decided to stay in North Carolina. That's from the field of 68.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's an interesting wrinkle in this. And then how does this impact the number 9 pick? Because Dallas picks 9th in the draft. I bet last night Ade Mara under 9.5, I believe it is.
Yeah.
So 9 could make sense at plus 150. I think he could be a pick for them there. Maybe Lendenborg winds up being the running mate for Cooper Flag. He is 10-1 to be the number 9 pick. But
I think he's going to be a good pro.
I think that Dusty May takes one of his guys, right? Wouldn't you want to do that, have familiarity with the young player that you're bringing in when you enter in the same season?
Yeah. Paulie and Dustin, VSiN Follow the Money, the Sports Betting Network. It's always a fun week. Our NFL betting guide dropped today. Great job in the preview magazine with futures and everything that the crew did with division predictions. So you're picking up what Will Hill's putting down here. Explain your Coach of the Year bet and why you like it, because I think you guys are drunk.
No. See, when you look at the Coach of the Year market, I think we're too obsessed with doing more with less or improving on the last year. And if you go back in history, there's precedent for this in the past. It doesn't always go to a first-year head coach. It doesn't always go to someone who's dealing with turmoil or a really dysfunctional situation.
Yeah. Now, this is interesting because Charch was on, I think, a year ago and made the case for Andy Reid. His angle was you got to win 15 games.
You have to win 15 games.
Harbaugh did it once, too. Okay, take it away.
Well, I bet John Harbaugh a year ago thinking he would win 15 games. That's the struggle I have with betting this year. Again, back-to-back years. But I just think you look back in history, and we saw this with Belichick the year that they went almost undefeated, right? They went undefeated in the regular season, which is all that matters here. We saw Ron Rivera and the Panthers, where he won 14, 15 games, took them to the Super Bowl against Denver. He was your Coach of the Year that year.
Okay.
I just think there's precedent. If you're so overwhelmingly dominant, the best team in football, and I'm looking at the Rams.
They're 6-1 to win the Super Bowl.
What are the holes? What are the holes on this team? Especially if Aaron Donald returns in the middle.
How much credit's he going to get if they go 15-2?
He should.
They're 6-1 to win the Super Bowl.
How many times in the NFL do we see a team with these types of expectations fail, though?
Okay.
If you meet the expectations, if you are a dominant force, what if they win 16 games? At that point, you really have to think about it and give it to them, unless one of these other first-year head coaches makes a huge leap like Vrabel did and has that team as a contender to win the conference. So I see Sean McVay, and I love the write-up from Will Hill, if you check out the VSiN betting guide, where he writes up Sean McVay 40-1 to be your Coach of the Year. I think it makes a lot of sense. And the precedent that he used, the same that I used a year ago, 2019, John Harbaugh won the award, went 14-2. 2007, Belichick, Patriots, undefeated in the regular season. I just think that this team's biggest needs last year was secondary. They brought in 2 top-tier corners into the mix. And I think that Stafford doesn't have to be the MVP again. He doesn't have to put up those crazy numbers where so much of a burden is on him offensively. They can dial it back. They can manage the game a little bit more and rely on this defense with Myles Garrett coming over as well. And I don't see a weakness. I don't see a hole. And I think at 40-1, I'd rather take the shot on him than maybe some of the other coaches that are shorter on the board.
Yeah. And, last year was as good as it gets.
Well, that
because
was crazy.
Ben Johnson had a great case. And I'm still with Mitch and others that Shanahan had a great case.
I agree.
Dealing with all those injuries. But it comes down to schedule, also easy schedule, and what happened with Vrabel as well. And, of course, at the top of the leaderboard, it's guys taking over bad jobs. We're expected maybe they could win 7, 8, 9 games, something like that. So you're good at 40-1. You think that's your rundown. your breakdown 40-1 McVay Coach of the Year.
Yeah, I just think the number is worth a shot. That's it. I mean, I don't have to do a lot of convincing. I don't understand why everyone just thinks that Jesse Minter's going to show up and take Baltimore to a different stratosphere, as if John Harbaugh was an idiot. I don't really understand that. He's the second shot on the board. Harbaugh's the short shot at 6-1.
Yep.
I'm bullish on the Giants. You're lower on the Giants.
I like him, but the schedule's tough.
As bullish as I am, I'm not betting him at 6-1. That could happen, but that seems highly unlikely. Saleh at 10-1 of the new guys is where it gets interesting, because I think Tennessee could make a jump here. It's just there's a lot of up in the air with them. So those of the new guys, I think Saleh's the guy I'd take a stab with. I might consider Joe Brady, but I think for Joe Brady, the expectations are so high. He has to win 13, 14, 15 games to really be in the mix, and that's asking a lot out of a first-year head coach.
Okay, here's the freak out. Here is the freak out. 12 people picked the Bengals to win the division. What is going on?
I did. Look,
after they've eliminated so many people from Survivor, and the horrible coaching staff and can't stay healthy, and a god-awful defense, now we're saying they're going to win the division and they're going to be contenders.
Paulie, this team has broken my heart so many times. I've tried not to jump in. It's just the numbers get too juicy. They're plus $1.90 to win the North. It goes with my Minter thing. I think there's going to be a warm-up period here. I'm not so sure he just hits the ground running and he's going to be this guy who understands how to maximize this roster. And then for Cincinnati, if not now, when? Sense of urgency. Taylor's on the hot seat. You can't get off to another slow start. They bring in Dexter Lawrence. That helps. They also brought in Jonathan Allen, a couple other pieces up front. They desperately need to improve the push up there. O-line should be a little bit better as well. I think they have all the pieces on offense for a shootout with anybody in the league. I understand the trepidation. I had them in the Super Bowl last year, and it's more of I don't want to be a year early and then miss out on this with them. So I'm going back to the well with Cincinnati, not just winning the division. I've got them going to the Super Bowl.
Oh, my God.
Sense of urgency, hit the ground running. God. You got to play your best football right now. And I don't believe that Buffalo with a new head coach, Baltimore with a new head coach, this is a weird case where Zach Taylor's continuity might be a positive thing for this organization.
Yeah. I got to talk to management. We got to start peeing in cups around here.
How many of us were there again?
This is 12. 12
of us?
It led. Only 11. 11 took the Ravens. 20 of the 23 picked the Rams to win the division. 16 took the Lions. Only 3 Packers, 2 Vikings, and 2 Bears. And 20 of the 23 took the Bills to win the AFC East. So finally the Patriots play a real schedule, and they expect a drop-off as well. I love the South, the NFC South. 7 Saints led the way. 6 Buccaneers, 6 Atlanta, 4 Carolina. Wow, we're drinking the Saints Kool-Aid too.
I don't see that one.
Wow.
I think the Bucs are so underrated and disrespected. It's crazy.
I agree.
They drafted well. They made a couple key moves. They're going to miss Evans, there's no doubt, but they've got plenty of receivers and running backs.
All new VSiN NFL betting guide out now. Futures, win totals, MVP, Rookie of the Year, breakdown of every team, projected win totals, best bets. Get our football special, just $175, VSiN.com/subscribe. Get it through the Super Bowl now with the football special for $175, VSiN.com/subscribe. We'll go to Milwaukee up next. What's going to happen with Giannis and thoughts on the draft with Nick Whalen. Straight ahead, follow the money.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
All right, half an hour. We go to Philly, France, lane 1200. And we got a lot of props, and Nigel with a play on this as well. We'll get to that. Dustin with a selection coming up. Nick Whalen joins us now with RotoWire on the Progressive Guest Line from Milwaukee. Giannis Mania. He was as high as 70% on Paulie Market to go to the Celtics. Right now, 62% to go to Boston, 31% to go to Miami. Appreciate the time, Nick. What do you think happens here if Giannis is going to be a member of the Celtics and the Bucks get Jaylen Brown?
I just hope we get a resolution finally, guys. We have been going through this. We have been going through this since I actually went back and checked the first tweet that Shams put out there about the Giannis situation, about him potentially leaving Milwaukee. I think it was May 10th of last year. So we are going on like 13 plus months of this saga. I'm sick of it. Bucks fans are sick of it as well. It's okay, Giannis. You can leave the Milwaukee Bucks. We don't have to keep dragging our feet like this. Although I will say, this feels now like it's more the ball in the court of the Milwaukee Bucks and their decision. It's not necessarily Giannis steering the ship. I think it's, do we take the Miami offer? Do we take the Boston offer? Look, I get the kind of underwhelming vibe with what Miami could put on the table. There's not a whole lot else that the Heat could put out there outside of Bam Adebayo, which of course wouldn't make that much sense for Miami. But to me, you got to take the Jaylen Brown offer. I'm not all that interested in Jaylen Brown playing for the Milwaukee Bucks. I know a city like Milwaukee, you worry about having a team identity, especially after losing a player like Giannis. You don't want to just go back to anonymity, but it just doesn't make a lot of sense. I actually really like Jaylen Brown as a player. He's 29 years old. He's coming off the best year of his career, but he's on a huge contract. There are 3 more years left on that deal. And more importantly, what is this Bucks team going to look like around him? Milwaukee went all in to a fault over these last couple of years to try to build a contender around Giannis. That was a total catastrophe. Now you're looking to get off some of these deals. I was talking with some friends last night. You look at the Bucks roster, like how many true keepers are there? How many guys would you say, I want this guy on the team 1 or 2 years from now? It might just be Ryan Rollins and maybe AJ Green, the 3-point specialist, maybe Kevin Porter Jr., if you can get him on the cheap. Like there's just no path to building something around Jaylen Brown, especially when you are paying Damian Lillard guys $22.5 million against the cap for the next 4 seasons.
Yeah, I don't envy you as a Bucks fan having to talk yourself into Jaylen Brown as your number 1 player. I really don't want to be in that situation. Remember, I'm a Mets fan. I've had to convince myself of a lot of really bad things. The impact of Giannis to Boston, though. Right now, the favorite in the East, plus 475 to win the title next year. How he fits in alongside Tatum, some of those other pieces, and more importantly, the front office with the Celtics, and how they seem to maximize everyone who shows up there.
Well, I mean, this is my greatest fear as a Milwaukee Bucks fan, is not only losing Giannis, but losing him specifically to the Boston Celtics. I don't think people would say, oh, that's some great rivalry in the NBA, but those teams, had their battles plenty of times in the playoffs. Like, this is not the spot where you want Giannis to go. And yet, I will tell you, there will be very few Bucks fans who will not be rooting for Giannis. Even though he's in a Celtics uniform, he's a very difficult guy to root against. I want him to have success in Boston, but I don't know that it's just a total lockdown. If they send out Jaylen Brown, they essentially swap him out for Giannis. I think, the peak scenario where, Giannis stays healthy, he's playing at an MVP level, Jason Tatum looks like his old self. Yeah, that could be 66, 67 wins. It could be the best team in the Eastern Conference, but I think both of these guys carry risk. I hope Jason Tatum is able to bounce back from the Achilles injury, and it's just something that we look back on as a 1-year blip, but it's not a guarantee to me. Giannis has missed a ton of time over the last couple of years. He's had recurring calf injuries. He's been hurt at the worst possible times. I think that's something you have to be a little bit concerned about. And, Jaylen Brown was an all-NBA player this last year. It's not nothing, removing him from the roster. So I feel like the way we're talking about the Celtics with Giannis, it's as if Jaylen Brown is still on the team. It's an upgrade, no question, but you're incurring some risk because Jaylen Brown, even though he's a worse player than Giannis, he's been extremely durable.
All great points. We love Nick Whalen. Watch him every day, prop points, and with RotoWire. He's on the Progressive Guest Line. Follow the money. VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, Paulie and Dustin. Big move before the show on who's going to go number 2 tomorrow in the draft. I know maybe you're not buying it. Peterson's up to 70% to go second, and Boozer is now 71% to go third. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I think part of it is it's really starting to feel like Devonta is going to be the selection at number 1 for Washington. And I think Washington giving a contract, we don't need to get into the details, to Trae Young earlier today probably hammers that home. Now, if I'm Utah, I would just bite the bullet and take Darren Peterson because I think the talent is that overwhelming. But look, I get some of the red flags. They kind of went through this last year. The stakes were a little bit lower. But remember, Ace Bailey was trying to get his way out of, being drafted by the Utah Jazz, and they did it anyway. So as a franchise, I don't think you love the optics of basically like forcing players in 2 straight drafts to go to your team. But I think you got to do it. I think the upside with Peterson is that high. Now, I will say, and I know Dustin mentioned this to me off air, I don't think it's crazy to throw a little sprinkle on Cam Boozer to be the number 2 overall pick. If the Utah Jazz do get cold feet, and the other factor here is this Walker Kessler situation that came out of nowhere last week. We're starting to forecast, man, this Jazz team could be really good next year. You got Kessler, you got Markkanen, you got Jaren Jackson. If they can't reach an agreement with Walker Kessler on a new deal, if they have to move him, all of a sudden, it's more of a plug and play for Cameron Boozer in that starting five.
I'll forgive you if you don't have a really strong opinion on this, but Dembinsta going to the Wizards, it sets up a starting lineup for them. Trae Young, who just got a deal from them, multi-year now extension.
Freaking outrageous.
Anthony Davis,
200.
Alex Sarr, Keyshawn George, Koulibaly, Will Riley, Trey Johnson, Bub Carrington. What do you make of the Washington Wizards? A question I never thought I'd be asking in 2026.
Really, really generous of you to include Will Riley and Bub Carrington.
Hey, Will Riley was very good to me with point
loaded
props this year. He was very good to me with point props.
Yeah, well, anybody who plays fantasy basketball is very familiar with both of those guys. I think everybody added them and dropped them like 4 times last year. Look, it's an interesting team. It's the type of team that I would build on NBA 2K, where you're mortgaging the future, you're mortgaging picks. You're like, oh, I want Anthony Davis on my team. I want Trae Young. I'm probably not even going to play this franchise mode next season anyway. Who cares? Oh, and I'm going to get the number 1 pick and add him to my team as well. I mean, at the very least, the Wizards will be interesting. There's no question about that. They will get national TV games. People will care about the Washington Wizards in ways that they haven't in 5 or 6 years. Are they an Eastern Conference contender to me? Probably not. But again, in a best case scenario, a healthy Trae Young, a healthy Anthony Davis, AJ Dembinsta, who I think is about as NBA ready as any wing prospect that we've had in a while. Yeah, it's a team that I wouldn't want to face in a 1-8 matchup. Maybe that's the way I would frame it.
All right, fair enough. How about an NBA draft prop that you like? Available. I'm seeing minus 160 at DK. Take it away.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot out there this year, unfortunately, so we're a little bit limited if you're looking for draft props. But Keaton Wagler to be the number 5 overall pick is something I like at plus 155. Clippers currently hold that pick. I think he would be the selection if they do keep it. There's been some talks of maybe trading Kawhi Leonard, getting off of that number 5 pick. And Milwaukee is a team that's actually, alleged to have some interest in Keaton Wagler. So if they were able to, make that a part of the Giannis deal, I think that would be their pick at number 5. So that's something I like. If you're looking at the top 10 market, Nate Ament out of Tennessee to be a top 10 pick, to me, it's minus 160. You're not going to be fired up about it, but I think that's a pretty reasonable value. He's been linked as high as number 6 to the Brooklyn Nets. There's been a lot of rumors from the 7 to 10 range that teams are interested there. So those are 2 that I would take a look at.
Dusty May, likely going to be the head coach of the Mavs, according to all the reports out there. They have the number 9 pick here, Nick. Mm-hmm. Do you think that does anything where maybe Dusty May looks to a former Wolverine to take in the top 10?
That was my first thought when I saw that news this morning, Dustin. And we did see a slight move specifically for Yaxel Lendeborg, who is now down to plus 650 to be the number 9 overall pick. Daimar is plus 425, so he's considered the most likely Michigan man who could go 9. I feel like everything I've read for the last month has linked Braden Burries to the Dallas Mavericks. Like, if he's on the board, I think it would be tough for them to go against their evaluation. It's also difficult because Dusty May just took the job today. It's like, how much sway is he really going to have in that front office, within 36 hours of the NBA draft? But it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me. I mean, number 9 it's kind of the right zone where you could justify, getting a guy for your new head coach. You don't want to do that with a 3rd or 4th overall pick, but it wouldn't shock me if they went Morrow or Lendeborg.
Okay. Quickly, 90 seconds. Can you state the case for an NFL win total you like? It's in the guide.
Yeah, I put a few in the guide. The New Orleans Saints over 7.5 is one that I'm looking at. First and foremost, the NFC South is probably the most wide open, the most unpredictable division in the NFL. I think Tampa Bay is probably the safest team, but Kellen Moore made this team a playoff threat by the end of the year last year after a 1-8 start. They added some pieces on offense. They were very quietly a top 10 defense in the NFL. You should get some progression from Tyler Shuck year over year. You have a very friendly schedule out of division. So I'm buying in on the New Orleans Saints to potentially win the division and certainly to go over 7.5.
Excellent. Great to talk to you, my friend. Enjoy the draft. Cash some tickets. Thanks for a few minutes.
Anytime, guys. Thanks for having me.
Nick Whalen. Before the show, about an hour before the show, Peterson went from minus 140 to minus 225 to go number 2 at DraftKings.
Yeah, report came out. He apparently finally talked to the Jazz. And he made a statement, too, with reporters, something along the lines of, I'm happy to go wherever I wind up. I still don't believe Utah, and I'm with Mitch. Mitch, I know, is very high on them next year.
Yeah.
I think Boozer can be inserted right away as a safe guy across the board to make you a better team.
Dustin with a pick on the France match coming up, and the insanity will not stop. You're up 29 units betting this in the World Cup. Win, lose next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
1-0 France, 29th minute. Mbappe with the first goal of the match. Draw in play, 25-1. And another one, you wanted to play the FOMO parlay. I forgot about this. I believe this hit last week. If you guys can check my work. So if to bet to score the first goal, 177-1. Messi, Mbappe, Haaland, Harry Kane. The first two are in. I know three of them got there for sure last week. Did Mbappe get the first one for France? Because that same ticket hit last week, I believe. And I know someone put that in 177-1. He's got the first two in. Haaland coming up with Norway and Harry Kane tomorrow against Ghana.
Well, how about this match right now? Iraq's being a little aggressive here, a little spicy with the ball on the other side.
Well, you read those quotes from the coach. He's going to be aggressive. I'm surprised by that, but they had a couple opportunities, yes.
If they could punch one in here, I feel a lot better about the over. Or if they're all over aggressive and France can come back the other way and take advantage. Either way, I like what I'm seeing from Iraq just because the only fear of the over is the potential blowout factor. That's it. Mm-hmm. Mbappe with the first goal. I haven't looked. Is that currently available right now? The Golden Boot. Messi was up to plus 150, 155 when I looked just a little bit ago. We're at plus 175 for Mbappe now. Mbappe was plus 320 right before the goal. Oh, missed opportunity there. Missed opportunity.
Great market. And also, if you bet team to score the most goals in the group stage, that's Germany leading the way. But having the 7 early helped in their first match as well. I did not know this. And it's really getting chippy. But Alexi Lawless is hated and despised this much.
They all hate him.
Well, I'm talking about soccer fans.
Yeah, I didn't know this.
I had no idea. Andrew Marchand, New York Times, wrote that he's the most despised analyst we've seen in the last 10, 15 years, he said, 20 years.
I'm assuming that's excluding Skip Bayless. He's talking about people who played the game.
No, I think about
like game. I know what you're saying.
So people were starting to put lists together about how, because I think most people were in agreement, like soccer fans, that they hate his negativity. He's got arrogance, and he didn't do much in his career. And they took him off the broadcast, and Zlatan said, "America, you're welcome."
Yeah, that was weird.
Yes.
That was weird for your teammate to celebrate. That's like you being like, "Don't worry, guys, Mitch is out today. We're gonna have fun without him."
Oh man,
what are we doing? I was surprised when I saw that article. But people don't like him, and if you're annoyed that he's always negative, I guess my argument would be, what was positive about American soccer that you wanted him to say in recent years? Like, how'd you want him to spin zone this thing? They couldn't get the coaching right. They never found a marquee player that they developed. I think Freddie Adu is still young enough where if he would have lived up to the hype, he might still be on this team.
Yeah. I can't believe how people can't stand this guy. And Marchand's been leading the way and writing about it, the coverage has been bad. You got to get a different mix. And the Zlatan Lawless thing doesn't work. Then they were passing the ball. Remember they doing passing the ball, and they didn't involve Lawless either?
It's weird. It's weird.
That?
It's weird.
Yeah.
I think it actually makes them look weird. More so that like whatever he's done that's made them not like him, to publicly do that to your teammate is just an odd look. Especially for guys who play like a team sport. Isn't that the whole thing? Is that you can mix everyone in, you can overcome the obstacles, you can deal with whatever that they throw at you that you don't like. You're a team in the end. But apparently that is not the case with this Booth, who I think's been pretty good. Yeah. Right? I think they've been pretty good, this analyst group of them. But Zlatan with the America You're Welcome was certainly an odd sight.
Here it is. He's one of the most insufferable analysts in American TV sports history.
That feels like a stretch.
Wow. And he's just ripping the coverage about you can't have this mixed together, and Zlatan can't stand him. And how they did this. And then people were pointing out his analysis of, well, I fell asleep in the first half. I fell asleep in the second half with what he said the other day. But that is strong and just saying it's not a good mix and how Americans don't like this guy anyways. And he doesn't have the credentials to be in there with these guys that they're setting him up with. And they've moved them off what they did over the weekend at least.
Yeah,
Who's on that list, though?
But I'm trying to think who are the worst analysts that people really hate. Like,
I think everyone disliked Phil Simms.
you mean his coworkers or audience?
No, audience.
Kind of dry.
No one liked Phil Simms.
There wasn't much. Honestly, he didn't start saying anything until he went to the booth.
Right.
Or until he went to the analyst.
He moved. Yeah, he's done both. Yeah, right.
Yeah, not in game. Didn't say anything. All of a sudden, he's in studio. You're like, oh, where was it? Phil Simms was great when he moved to that spot.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that one. I mean,
God, that's a strong take.
Trying to think. I'm trying to think of like people in their prime because like you could crush the Fox NFL studio team.
People like Bradshaw.
Yeah,
people
they're
like Howie
likable. They're likable. They're not good. I guess I'm going with not good. But you're saying character they don't like. Okay. Yeah. I don't know another comparison.
That's a tough list.
No.
But I mean, because I wasn't a soccer guy, but if he's saying he's right up there with how soccer people feel about him as well, and the negativity is one thing, but I think it's also the arrogance when you don't have the resume like a Zlatan. The Zlatan thing's hilarious, right? Where he has got a great resume and he's got the personality.
Yeah.
But this guy's Lawless didn't accomplish anything really.
Yeah, he played for Team USA, and isn't Fox controlling the broadcast? So he's part of the group. It's our own little favoritism in putting together this combination. I don't know.
Announcers are different. Play-by-play guys
it's
are
a different world.
Because we know what Joe Buck went through, and
there's got to be
Costas
chemistry
at the end. Costas at the end, yeah. But most insufferable analyst in American TV history? Wow.
But to the point, we're struggling to come up with another number two. So he would have a case, even though it seems outrageous. I don't have a number two here.
Dennis Miller?
No. That's probably it, but he had no business being there.
Yeah, right. People didn't like that at all.
At least Lawless has more credentials than Dennis Miller.
Yes.
Kornheiser was there in the booth.
Gave him a try. Yes. Yeah.
I'm just trying to. I really don't remember someone. People did not like Jessica Mendoza, but there was different. There was ulterior motives there.
Right.
Just they got to look in the mirror as to why they didn't like her.
Yeah. I think that's a good pregame with A-Rod, Ortiz, and Jeter.
I agree.
That's star power there too, and that's not bad. But that was incredible. So 1-0, 37th minute. It's slowing down now.
Yeah, we need another goal.
That's our concern.
We need two in the first half.
Yeah.
We need two, and then we need the floodgates to open in the second half. This could be nice from Iraq if they can find a way to set up a shot here. But the thing I'm noticing about the elite teams, right? We're talking about the top tier teams in this tournament, is that when they're pressured on defense, they don't panic. They are so confident that they're going to make the stop and just knock away whatever the attempt is offensively from their opponent. Every time Iraq has made a real push here, you've seen France buckle down on defense like, yeah, we're fine. Well, they're not going to score here. They're minus 6,000, 55-1 if you like Iraq. The draw is 18-1. And I'm just trying to pull up the in-game on the goals. It's 3.5. The over's plus 141. I don't love that. Under's minus 167.
Yeah, I'd go the under there. Ooh. I'm with you. The exact scores: 1-0 if it holds was 11-1, 2-0 6-1, 3-0 6-1. If somehow Iraq can score, 2-1 was 14-1, 3-1 was 12-1, with the exact scores. But I'm all about the star power now. If these guys can hit this ticket again. Whether it's first goal score or just the Mitch did the boost at 130-1 for the big three to get two each. He already got Messi in, and Mbappe's already got the first one.
Want to point out 5:38 p.m. Eastern time. Giannis Antetokounmpo is still a Milwaukee Buck.
what? No, you said it earlier, and Nick had a great rant about the first tweet goes back to last May.
I'm over it.
Demand the trade. Say you'll only sign the extension in Boston or Miami, and that would have been done. This would have been done with months ago.
Paulie,
not even a year ago.
I just cashed a Knicks 6-1 title bet that was only placed because I thought they were trading for Giannis. So the only reason I bet the Knicks, I didn't believe that core was going to get it done. I was so confident a trade for Giannis was happening when he demanded it earlier. Then he rescinds it. Then he wants another one. Then he goes back on it. He wants to be in Milwaukee. Yeah. And now we're talking about him going to the Celtics or the Heat. I'm surprised it's only those two teams. Are you surprised that's it who's making an offer for him?
Yes.
Like, I think Oklahoma City, with the Wemby situation, they should really be considering a Jalen Williams and a bunch of players and picks trade to bring Giannis to Oklahoma City.
This really got weird over the weekend because it was 3, 4, 5 teams involved, and I thought that's the reason for the holdup.
Well, Detroit's getting screwed here.
Yeah,
Tyler Hero is a good fit for them.
So it's for then Shams to come out and say it's only going to be one team trading with another team. That's it. And that just and now your Paulie market going crazy with the stuff to Boston, which you got as high as 70%. So
that's Milwaukee botching it. You're selling pennies on the dollar.
I like the Miami offer better, actually.
I think Cleveland should jump in right now with a Mobley offer. I think that's a good offer.
All right, updating the in-play with the soccer. Will be approaching halftime up next. More on Norway and Senegal. Do you concur? Americans will never treat an American like this again.